Applause for Natasha Courtney-Smith.
I'm always following very dismal news after Steve starts talking about the economy and recessions. Now, where's the clicker gone? There, okay. So I'm going to bring our next guest to the stage, but I'm just going to go back to this graph because we are going to bring on active partners and Taylor Hart, a brand they've invested into. And active partners are a growth fund, just was literally discussing with Jason this graph, who sit in this area here. So Jason and Nick, would you like to come to the stage? Welcome, guys. How are you both?
Good. Thanks for having us here.
Great. So, Nick, should we start with you? Because you are the founder of an amazing jewellery brand called Taylor Hart. Do you want to tell us a bit about yourself and how you started Taylor Hart?
Sure.
Jason.
Thank you. So, Taylor Hart, we are a London-based jewellery brand. We specialize in engagement rings. And it's a category that we believe hasn't been disrupted in the way that we believe the customer deserves, in particular around the ability to personalize engagement rings, to have a product that's been sustainably sourced, and to have a fantastic customer experience. So we launched the company 10 years ago now, so very much in that, hopefully past that 90% fail within 7 years milestone. And along the journey, we decided we wanted to grow faster, and that is how we ended up meeting Jason, who backed us and invested in the company and have supported us since 2019.
So just, Nick, before we go on to Jason, keep it about you.
That's fine.
Talking about, so what I love when I meet people who found these digital brands is when you find people who are kind of self-taught internet marketers. Where's Michael? I can't see where he's gone, but you know, Michael, who founded Wonder2, is similar. Nick, you are as well, right? You started in affiliate marketing. It was a side hustle for you while you were at uni. And then talk about how you started Taylor Hart with opt-in pages.
Yeah, sure. So you could find me at university trying my best not to have to work at a bar by having a gig selling products that we didn't manufacture through affiliate marketing. It was a time, this is more than 10 years ago, where I think affiliate marketing was very effective. And Tim Ferriss wrote a book, The 4-Hour Work Week, which I was a big fan of. I think is definitely a reality distortion issue there, because I think a lot of people thought that that's very feasible, and I did too. In fact, realized since that it's enormous amounts of work needs to go into building a company and a brand. And the way in which we started Taylor Hart was really like many founders do. I was in the market myself. I had a little bit of experience in South Africa, where I grew up in the diamond trade, but never thought I'd actually start a diamond company. Until looking at this with the lens of a customer, hoping to get engaged with my partner, and realizing that it's very difficult to buy an engagement ring. It's very difficult to buy an engagement ring that is special and is something that I have designed in my own way. And together with my co-founder at the time, we decided to take a punt at this and start the business. And to your point on the opt-in pages, from my affiliate marketing experience, instead of building an add-to-cart model, which is what most of our competitors were doing, you know, let's put product pages of engagement rings and an add-to-cart button, we felt that a better experience would be to introduce ourselves to our customers, just like a jeweler would, by giving them an opportunity to tell us what they're looking for. So we went down a completely different model, a model of, and also it was much easier to create a landing page with a sign-up form, enter your email, we'll talk to you. And what we realized then is that this is a very effective way of hand-holding people through a journey that is difficult for them, that they don't have a lot of information on. And the company started growing from those conversations that we were having with customers.
And to some extent, you still use that philosophy today, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've evolved a lot since then, and we've realized that some customers just want to see products and buy them, and some customers want to design unicorn rings and lobsters, and those are absolutely fantastic for showcasing our capability. But for the most part, customers don't have that creative vision, and they want to. It's a combination between seeing product and being able to in some way customize that product. So we very much believe in forming a relationship with our customers from the first visit. So if we encourage them through an exchange of value to sign up, start the process with us, and we rely on email marketing automation to take some of the load off our sales team initially to qualify those customers. And at the point where they are engaged and want to talk to a person, we have a fantastic team of consultants who handhold them through the second part of the journey.
Brilliant, amazing. So Jason, active partners, one of the main sort of funds, I mean, I'm saying main, I don't know if it is, but I see
we'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Funds in the UK that invests into consumer brands, not just e-commerce brands, but consumer brands in general. You've got some amazing brands on who you guys have supported and helped grow. So from Tala through to brands like Piglet in Bed, and as well as restaurant brands like Leon, etc. Tell us a bit about active partners and what you look for.
Yeah, that's right. So we are growth-focused investors within the consumer space. We've partnered with a number of well-known brands, from being early investors at Soho House, Leon in the food and hospitality space, through to Secret Cinema, Rafa in premium cycling, and currently Tala and Taylor Hart, Face Theory and skincare. So across the range, kind of omni-channel consumer sector investors. We invest between £3 and £20 million in the companies that we back, and we are working with them to kind of help support their ambition and partner closely with entrepreneurs to kind of bring their visions to life. We also have an early stage seed fund, which we launched earlier this year, backing brands, but also the technology that services them. So e-commerce platform type focused investments as well. And out of that fund, we are investing between 300 and 750K in earlier stage businesses. So yeah, that's us.
So you must see a lot of stuff, a lot of brands.
Yeah, we do. We do. We see a lot of that. We see a lot of this. We talk to lots of people with exciting brands and lots of different propositions
so
and models.
What do you look out for, and how do you know, if you can summarise your entire due diligence process into a couple of minutes? Like, what do you look out for?
I'm looking at your clock, Tash. I mean, there's obviously some things that are really, really important to us. We start with, is it an amazing product or service? And at the core, that's what we think really matters. That's what gets people to convert. That's what gets people excited and wanting to engage with the brand. And that's where something like Taylor Hart was really relevant, because we extensively mystery shopped the engagement ring category. We had members of our team out and about pretending they were all about to get married.
And he did eventually buy an engagement ring too.
He did. Yeah. He did. Actually, this is true. So we go hard to understand the product and service, and is it something exceptional? Does it have amazing NPS scores? And then the second step from there is, does it already have an amazing brand halo around it? And that can be an amazing community of followers that is advocating for it left, right, and centre. So with something like Rafa in the premium cycling space, you've got this army of people who are absolutely obsessed with it, and you see the pink stripe all over town and all over the country, and those people are obsessed with it and will shout about it. So even if that brand advocacy isn't there today, we look for the potential from amazing product or service to then build that brand. We then look for wonderful team. This is where Nick can blush. But people who are genuinely passionate about the mission that they're on, and are in it for the right reasons, wanting to disrupt a category because they thought it was broken and saw an opportunity for more, not just in it because it's a quick buck and there's an opportunity to maybe put some cheap Facebook ads out there and see what happens. Team who really want to do it. Mm-hmm. The fourth thing is around scale potential. Is it in a large category? And I think that's where some businesses often I see making the wrong calls, where they're doing something really interesting or trying to be really different, but in a niche that no one really cares about. And so we go, is this a market that's sufficiently large where you can build businesses of scale? And the last thing is, we heard about it just now, is unit economics. To not be the boring investor, but the numbers do matter. Do you make money on the first transaction is really important to us. And as long as you can do that, and actually the more you can do that, if your customer repeats or not becomes a bit less important. But the more you can get them to repeat, obviously that's better. But that profitability piece of it is obviously really important to us as well.
Yeah, so I think, you and I talk about this a lot, we discussed it as well. So one of the things we see in beauty as a category is inherently the products are quite a low price generally, even in a sort of more expensive beauty brand. and they therefore can struggle with profitability at point of first purchase, depending on what channel they're acquiring for. Obviously, engagement rings is completely different because your average order value engagement ring is in the thousands. So how has that helped you in terms of giving the business more stability and ability to grow?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So we are a jewelry brand, but we made a conscious decision to start off with the engagement ring for a couple of reasons. The first and most important one is that in terms of jewelry purchases, it tends to be the largest average order value. But also, it's quite predictable in terms of what happens after you get engaged. Often our customers will get married for the vast majority, and they come back in large numbers returning for the wedding rings. And it's only now that we've actually decided or not have had enough motivation to also expand into other jewelry products so that we can really build out that lifetime value as our customers celebrate milestones in their lives. So we are actually launching jewelry this quarter. And in our case, the average order value is fundamentally what helps us have that profitable first sale. Despite an expensive acquisition cost, it is difficult to convince a customer in a very crowded space to purchase an engagement ring online. We're doing everything we can to improve that. But because of the high average order value and the margin, we're able to have a very good LTV to customer acquisition cost. That is one of the reasons why, I suppose, you guys backed us. So yeah, it's very important, and it was intentional that we started with the engagement ring for that reason.
Okay, so before we wrap up, just a question for both of you about brand, because Nick, you said to me if you could go back again, you'd focus more on the brand and not necessarily the unit economics and the lead generation funnel. You'd also be focusing on the brand. And Jason, you also talk about how, even in the instance of weaker unit economics, the brand and its value is of such importance to you. So who wants to go first?
Nick, you go first.
Just to clarify, not less so on the unit economics, but in addition to unit economics. Yeah. I think to be very open about our journey, the learning is that I wish we had a co-founder who understood the importance of building a brand. We were obsessed with the experience, and I know that really helped us a lot because of the net promoter scores we've had and the referral rates. But fundamentally, if you ask our customers how they became customers, many were a little bit accidental. They stumbled into a fantastic journey, and we're very happy that they did. But they didn't necessarily go right at the top of the funnel, I want Taylor Hart. And what we've learned there...
In the way they might go, I want Tiffany.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And what we've learned there is a really interesting dynamic. 65% of the visitors to our website are women, but less than 1% of our customers are women. Now, that's not because women just browse engagement rings and don't buy. It's because the dynamic between men and women, I'm generalizing here, we have all kinds of relationships, but predominantly it is a dynamic where maybe 20 years ago, it was expected to be a surprise. It was culturally a norm. But now the collaboration between couples is the main way in which people buy engagement rings. It could be subtle hints, or it could be outright, I'm designing the ring, here's the link, can you pay for it? Which does happen. A lot, actually. So that insight in Jane Gawley, who's joined our team as our chief brand officer, when we were interviewing her, she basically said, you guys have got this all wrong. Let's build a brand that women really want to buy from. And you won't immediately see that in your unit economics in your funnel, but I guarantee you it will work. And we really believe in that. And I think we missed the trick there because of just looking at the data and thinking that we've understood what the customer journey really looks like. To your point earlier on, let your customers show you what's really happening. And I think I wish we had that insight earlier, but I'm glad we have it now. And actually, just on this point quickly before time runs out, on that insight and a lot of others, we're raising capital right now, again, to execute on what we believe is a very good understanding of how the company can scale up from here.
Great. And Jason, brand?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really big part of our investment approach and thesis. We see it as a key source of differentiation. But brand without amazing product is worthless, and great product or service without brand is not worthless, but hard. And you've got to work so much harder to convince consumers that you are the place where they should go to make their purchase. So for us, it's how the different pieces of the puzzle fit together. But ultimately, we believe that brand is the best source of differentiation one of the key sources of differentiation in a really crowded market. That ultimately builds value that can last the test of time. And, you know, with businesses like Soho House, you know, that brand can kind of do so many different things, as we've seen, because they've got such a following. So brand buys you time, but it also allows you to push your product and services into lots of different categories.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. We're definitely out of time. I know
Yeah,
that says 23 seconds, but I've been getting frantic signals from over there. So thank you very much, Jason and Nick. And these guys are around, and if you want to catch up and chat to them. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.